Hello friends! Welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today, we're going to learn what the units are, the tens and the hundreds. It's going to be so much fun. Do you know what a unit is? It's very easy. Each element is called a unit. It could be anything. For example, a toy, a tree, or an animal. The units are represented by single-digit numbers. One fish is equal to 1 unit. So, if we have 2 units, we represent them with the number 2. 3 units with the number 3, and so on up until the number 9. Wow, so many fish! One more and we will have 10. 10 units. Do you see what happens with the number 10? We now have 2 digits, the 1 and the 0. We have a 10 because 10 units make a 10. Remember, a 10 is a grouping of 10 units. Let's leave our fish tank here, because here come 2 more fish. If we count them all now, we'll have 12 units, 12 fish, or in other words, a 10 and an additional 2 units. I write it like this: the units in the first position, starting from the right, and the tens in the second position, always starting from the right. Now, imagine that the number of fish is increasing, and now you fill 2 fish tanks, and each tank has 10 fish. We would have 2 lots of 10. The tens start from 10 and go up in tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on up to the number 90. One more 10 and we would have 100. 100 units. 100 fish. Oh, how wonderful. That would be equal to 10 tens or 100. There are so many fish. I wish we could keep them all. The number 100 has 3 digits. The hundreds are written in the third position starting from the right. For example, let's write the number 135, which is equivalent to 5 units, 3 tens, and a 100. Let's try with some other numbers. 367. Now it's your turn. How many units do you think there are? Very good. There are 7 units. The units are written in the first position, counting from the right. How many tens are there? Yes, very good. There are 6 tens. The tens are written in the second position, counting from the right. And thirdly, how many hundreds do you see? Exactly, 3 hundreds. The hundreds are written in the third position, counting from the right.
Yay!
Now you know what the units, tens, and hundreds are. You can practice with more numbers because units, tens, and hundreds are essential to be able to add and subtract. And it's a lot of fun too. By the way, shall we release the fish into the river? Awesome. Now they can swim freely and in peace. Goodbye, friends. See you in the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends, welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today, we are going to learn about the distance there is between one place and another, or how to measure the height of a giraffe. Today, we're going to talk about what it is and how to measure longitude. As we said before, longitude is the distance there is between 2 points, like the distance between your house and school. The most important unit of length is the meter, and it is represented by the letter M. 100 m is 100 meters. The meter measures distances, but it also measures things such as height and width. This giraffe, for example, is 5 meters long. And this swimming pool is 25 meters long and 10 meters wide. But what happens if what we want to measure is smaller than a meter? We need to divide the meter in equal small parts. If we divide a meter in 10 equal parts, we call each of these a decimeter, and we represent it with the letters dm. A meter has 10 decimeters. If we divide it in 100 equal parts, we call this centimeters, and we represent them with the letters cm. A meter has 100 centimeters. And so, if we divide the meter into 1,000 equal parts, we call these tiny parts millimeters, and they are represented by 2 m's. 1 meter has 1,000 millimeters. To measure these smaller units, we use a ruler or a meter, which, as you can see, divides each centimeter into 10 equal parts, in other words, in millimeters. To measure larger distances than a meter, we use a kilometer, that is exactly 1,000 meters. Did you know how much distance there is between Spain and Mexico? Well, it's 9,025 kilometers, and we take about 10 hours travelling this distance by plane. Well, now we've learnt the units to measure longitude, there's something you need to bear in mind. Not all countries use the meter as a means of measuring longitude. In England and United States, they use yards and miles instead of meters and kilometers. A yard is equal to 914 centimeters, and a mile is 1,609 meters. It's a bit strange that we don't all measure in the same units, but that's what the world's like. Goodbye, friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Happy Learning TV.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends, welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Look at all these images. They are liquids and they are falling into containers. Well, today we're going to talk about capacity and liters. Capacity is the amount of liquid that fits inside something. And the smaller the object, the less capacity it has. For example, this canister that we are filling with water has a capacity of 5 liters. This watering can has a capacity of 3 liters. And this milk bottle, since it is smaller, it only holds 1 liter. As we can see, the canister, the watering can, and the bottle are containers in which we can put water. And depending on its size, they have more or less capacity and can hold more or less liquid. Of course, the canister is much larger than the milk bottle, so it can hold much more. But then, how is capacity measured? What is the unit of its measurements? Well, the most important unit with which the capacity is measured is the liter. and it is represented by the letter L. 10L is 10 liters. Thanks to the liter, we can know how much liquid we have in each of our containers. Check it out. In this bottle of water, we can fit 2 liters. In this bottle of oil, 1 liter. And in this glass, less than a liter fits in this glass. So how do we measure it then? Well, I'll show you. We just have to know that there are smaller units than the liter, and which they are the deciliter, the centiliter, and the milliliter. And they are represented like DL, CL, ML. Let's go back to the glass. Now that we know that this glass, there are 30 centiliters. And in this small test tube, 15 milliliters. Simple, right? But what if the containers are a lot bigger? Such as this fish tank or this pool. In this case, we use other measurements bigger than the liter. They are the decaliter, hectoliter, and kiloliter. And they are represented like this: DAL, HL, KL. We can say that this fish tank holds 15 decaliters. And in this pool, 370 kiloliters. My goodness, that's a lot of water. Remember that the liter is the most important unit of measure for measuring capacity, and that there are smaller and larger units. To learn how to move from one unit to another, let's learn the ladder trick. We place the unit of capacity on a ladder. When we want to move from one unit to another, if we have to go down, we multiply by 10 on each step that we go down. And if we have to go up, we divide by 10 on each step we go up. Let's look at an example. We want to know how many milliliters there are in this 3-liter bottle. We start at the liter and we go down 1, 2, 3 steps until we get to the milliliters. So we have to multiply 10 by 3 times. Or in other words, add 0 for every step we go down. And that would give us 3,000 milliliters. Now, we want to know how many hectoliters are in 50 liters. We start at the liter and we go up 1 and 2 steps. So we divide 50 by 10, 2 times. Or in other words, we draw a comma and move it up 1 place for each step we go up. So we move the comma once and twice. And since there's no number in front of it, we add a 0. And we get 0.50 hectoliters, or what is the same, 0.5 hectoliters. The ladder trick is really easy, isn't it? Now it's your turn to practice, and I'm going to drink this bottle of 50 centiliters of juice. Or what is the same, 500 milliliters, because after talking so much, I'm really thirsty. Goodbye, friends. Until the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends! Welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Have you ever wondered how big a cinema screen is? Well, today we're going to find out, because today we're going to learn what a square meter is and how to measure surfaces. I love the cinema, and in my school there is a screen that's 5 meters wide and 3 meters long. But how do we know how big its surface area is? Well, the first thing we need to know is that the surface has two dimensions, width and length. This space is also called the area, and to know how much it measures, we have to use the meter square. A meter square is a square that measures 1 meter wide by 1 meter long. Easy, right? It's written like this, an M and a small 2 at the top, and it's used to measure flat surfaces such as gardens, football pitches, or cinema screens. Shall we try it? Now, we've said that our screen is 5 meters wide by 3 meters long. Well, to know what the area is, we have to multiply the width by the length. In this case, 5 by 3, which equals 15. In other words, the surface of our screen measures 15 meters squared. Now we can say that our screen fits 15 squares that measure 1 meter by 1 meter. Let's check. To measure very large or very small surfaces, we cannot use the square meter. We have to use other measurements. For larger measurements, we use the square decimeter, which is 100 square meters, the square hectometer, which is 10,000 square meters, and the square kilometer, which is 1 million square meters. Wow! For the smallest surfaces, we use the square decimeter, which is 0.01 square meters, the square centimeter, which is 0.0001, and the square millimeter, which is 0.000001 square meters. And they're used to measure things as small as an electronic chip. And to go from one unit to another, we use the ladder trick. Look! Every time we go down a step, we multiply by 100. In other words, we add 2 zeros to the right. For example, if we want to go from 1 square meter to a square decimeter, we go down a step. We multiply once by 100. And each time we go up a step, we divide by 100. In other words, we add 2 zeros to the left. For example, if we want to change from 1 square meter to 1 square decimeter, we divide by 100 once, because we go up 1 step. Great! We already know that the square hectometer is a huge, ginormous square. It measures 10,000 square meters, which is the same as a square measuring 100 meters long by 100 meters wide. Square hectometers are also called hectares. Don't they sound more familiar now? Hectares are written with a capital H as well as a small h, and are used to measure fields or farms. An amusement park can measure 20 hectares, 200,000 square meters of fun. Can you imagine? How cool! Hey, I wonder how many square kilometers make up your city? Well, you better start researching. Goodbye, friends. See you in the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends and welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today we're going to learn all about cardinal numbers and ordinal numbers. Do you remember what natural numbers are? Naturally, natural numbers are all numbers. The ones we use to count, to add, to subtract, to do mathematical calculations, and also to put things in order. Depending on how we use them, we call these natural numbers cardinal numbers or ordinal numbers. Cardinal numbers are the ones we use to count or to do accounts. The happy panda is having a birthday party. How many children are there at his party? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They are 6 children. So we can say the number of children at the party is 6. That 6 is a cardinal number. With cardinal numbers, we can also do mathematical operations. We can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Let's try it. Let's add up the balloons we have to see if there are enough for all of them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 red balloons and 1, 2, 3 blue balloons. If we add 4 plus 3, the total amount is 7. 7 balloons in total. The result of this sum is 7. That 7 is a cardinal number. What luck! Each child will get a balloon and there will be 1 left over. The cardinal numbers have allowed us to know how many children there are at this party and also to add up the balloons. In other words, the cardinal numbers indicate quantity. Look, look! The happy pandy has lined up for a balloon race. They're about to go off. Bang! What a fright! A balloon popped. But which one was it? Was it the first one? No. The second one? No. The third? Not the third one either. It was the fourth balloon. The one the girl in fourth position was holding. But wait a minute. Why do we say the numbers differently now? Well, because we are indicating a position in an order. When we use the natural numbers to order or to indicate the position element within a group, we use ordinal numbers. Ordering, ordinal, ordering ordinals. It's easy peasy. For every cardinal number, there is an ordinal number. So the cardinal number 1 corresponds to the ordinal first. It is written like this, a 1 followed with the letters ST in small. 2 corresponds to the ordinal second. 3, third. 4 is called fourth. And 5, fifth. 6, sixth. 7, seventh. 8, eighth. 9, ninth. 10, tenth. And so on. See? There's nothing too complicated about it, is there? All quite ordinary, really. It's only really the first 3 numbers that change their pronunciation. The rest is their number and add th at the end. Now let's review. Natural numbers are all numbers, and depending on how we use them, they can be cardinal or ordinal. Cardinal numbers are the ones we use for counting and for doing mathematical operations. They give us quantities. Ordinal numbers are the ones we use to order or to indicate the position of an element within a group. They are used for ordering. The race is over! Lau has arrived before anyone else at the finish line. Then Chris, and then Fluchan. Would you dare to say it with ordinal numbers? Of course you would. It's not hard. Lau came first. Chris second. And Fuchan third. Yes, indeed. And you're number 1 because you understood it the first time, not the second or the third. Haha, what a joker. Goodbye, happy friends. See you next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.